Hey, yo! That was a little bit too close. Holy cow, the eye tracking is actually getting pretty good, man. Haven't uploaded in a while, but I thought I would do something kind of cool, kind of unique. I booted up my Oculus today, and I noticed the latest update came through, and I was like, oh my god, they're incorporating so many web design and UX things that I've wanted them to incorporate on the Oculus forever, and on the Quest 2. So I thought today I'd give a little bit of an overview of some of the things that have changed in the latest Oculus Quest updates, or the Quest 2, right? And give you guys an idea of why some of those updates have happened. So we're actually just going to hop back into my home here. We're going to click Worlds. And the first thing you might notice is that the color on this bar has changed a little bit. I kind of like it. It's a little bit of a gradient. It's not quite a straight black or a straight gray like it was beforehand. So the other thing that I noticed is it used to be, or at least I believe it was, pretty smooth tracking. And now they incorporated the feature to be able to jump back and forth in your home. I can't actually remember if this is a new feature or not. That might just be new to me. So if you guys don't remember this is a new update that basically allows you to see your meta profile in a mirror-like form, kind of like VR chat. So not super cool, not the biggest thing I wanted to mention. The thing that was the most obvious, though, is that they've really started moving towards a more rounded corner design. So they've got, previously they did have them a little bit rounded, and they've extended that same kind of color gradient all across the settings menu. And there have been some adjustments to the settings that I also really, really like. So number one is in the menu here, there's not an option to just quickly record. I am going to complain about that. It's especially for people who are creating or who want to be able to share their recordings, which is just about everybody, I think. The option to be able to start and stop a recording should be in this menu. I mean, come on, this is basic UX. The things that people should want to do should be quick and easily accessible. And that might actually be the biggest complaint that I have when it comes to the way that, yeah, look, that's kind of bugged. This might be the biggest complaint that I have overall about the user experience, is that it's just not simple. You have to be very familiar, you have to explore every setting, and this is honestly quite a huge barrier for a lot of people to be able to come in to use the device the way that they should, right? Wi-Fi makes sense, totally should be there, right? Guardian absolutely makes sense. Notifications, I can see it. Storage, I can kind of see it. But then as we start to move in here, right, like this is just menus on submenus on submenus. And like I click into system, and then I have dozens of options here. And if I go into Wi-Fi, there's my options there, right? Like, and there's so much, it's just everywhere, right? And so I would really like to see them try and reduce this a little bit, so that there's not just so many settings everywhere. Like, I feel like devices and Wi-Fi and even like accounts, maybe, definitely notifications could all go directly in system, right? I think a lot about how the way Android does this, the way Windows does this, the way Apple does this on both their iPhones, their tablets, their computers, right? They don't overcomplicate the system, right? And so if I'm a user, I should be able to kind of go, okay, what am I looking for? And I should have like 6 options max to choose from, right? There's something called the attention ratio, where you as an individual, you only have so much attention to be able to explore and troubleshoot. I mean, hell, that's basically how one of my IT friends described the entire IT industry, is that you should know enough about like how computers work and IT systems work to be able to troubleshoot them and to be able to troubleshoot effectively. But IT is not necessarily like creating or managing or not managing, but like engineering or creating new code-based systems, right? Like, if that's not really what IT is about. IT is more about the management of the systems and being able to troubleshoot the errors. And anyway, kind of a side tangent, right? I should be able to come in here and within 5 seconds know what I'm supposed to click on in order to get there, right? But before I started recording this video, I spent forever trying to figure out where am I going to record? Like, how am I going to record this? Because guess what? The camera setting had changed. Like, moving around camera stuff and making it hard for people is not the best idea. And here's like kind of the second part to this is that this is just the settings menu, right? This is not the entire app ecosystem library. And the more that I look into how each of these apps is supposed to work, how it's supposed to connect to the ecosystem, to the app store, it just doesn't make sense. And plus, shouldn't all my apps be here? Why do I have camera and people and store? I think Explorer's on here. Files, file viewer. No, Explorer isn't on here, right? And it should be. This app, if I can click on this, I should also be able to find it here. And like, whatever this is actually my camera. And this is actually kind of a cool feature, is that I can click on this, and then this is a direct camera settings management area where, okay, I'm going to move this over here. So this is a definitive recording and file management system. And if you guys have ever tried to record like your gameplay on Oculus without connecting it to a computer, it's been a whole nightmare because this whole settings menu did not exist. There wasn't a way to pull it up quickly and go, okay, I want to take this and I want to sync it to my mobile device, or I want to share it, right? And here's another thing that I think Facebook is kind of screwing up, is that the only options here are to really share it to like your Facebook feed, your Facebook group, or to sync it to mobile app, right? If you want people to be able to discover your device, Meta, you have to have it be possible for them to share it to other channels. Because all I'm going to do right now is I'm going to record this video, and then I'm going to upload it to YouTube. But guess what? If you guys had the option here for me to upload directly to YouTube, it would cut my work in half. And the likelihood that this particular video gets scrapped because I can't figure out how to get it up onto YouTube in time, or it takes me too long, or the settings to sync it fail, right? Like, there's just way too many issues. So, okay, side tangent over. The original point of this video was for me to do like a web designer reacts to the new VR update, right? And it's just kind of not, like, it's just turning more into a Facebook Horizon meta rant, but I still don't have legs. There's that. The facial tracking works in Horizon World, but it doesn't work in here. It should, right? Like, that's a disconnection in like my user experience in the World app and in my home. And especially since they're so interconnected, there should be feature parity. And by feature parity, I mean that anything that I can do that's relatively simple, right? Like, I can jump around in the meta world, right? But I can't jump around here, right? Like, I'm just stuck as this floating blob, and sometimes it tracks my... Anyway, there's just all sorts of problems. But more on the design front. I'm coming back to it, I promise. On the design front, they've done this thing that I really, really enjoy, where they've got this like darker blue and almost like a greenish color gradient, and they're incorporating it from like this top corner here, kind of spills over into this area that I really like, and then there's more of like a purple that kind of pulls over here. Really, really neat. And then it all just kind of fades into this, like, you can even see it, like there's this white circle here. Right? It's really nice. It's really calming. It feels a little bit like a sunset, which it should feel relaxing and just easy. Thanks. And my headset just paused recording. I hope it's not too janky, switching between the two, but the whole thing there is that this feels like a sunset, and it should feel like it's relatively easy to use. Now, another UX thing that I think they could improve on is consistency across the ecosystem. Apple does this really well. Google's getting better at this. But if I can do something in my main environment, so here in my Oculus home, I should be able to do it anywhere, across almost any device, across almost any app, right? Like, it's a universal thing. And this particular item, the recording, was giving me some bugs. So there's this thing where you can hold the Oculus menu button and hold the right trigger to start and stop recording. It works really well in the home, but if you're inside an app, it doesn't work. So that, anyway, it's just, part of that has to do with app developers, and they have their own buttons that they have to configure, and this is a new update, so maybe it will come to apps in the future, but something to be aware of, right? Okay, yeah, so let's talk a little bit about color and everything like that. So the reason that they're going with like a blue and a green and a little bit of like white here is that traditionally, especially in North America, where Meta is really, really big, well, I'm doing finger quotes right now, you can't see it, but air quotes, they're really big, right? Here we take those colors to mean trusting, calming, and almost naturalistic, right? And so you can tell what they're trying to do there. They're trying to establish a sense of trust, of calm, and I actually think the nature angle is pretty cool, where they're going for a more naturalistic sense while you're in here, essentially trying to blur the lines between what feels real and what feels fake. So really, really cool how they did that. I think that's about everything that I wanted to go over. I'm not going to touch on everything that they do that's cool in the settings menu, but there are a lot of cool things that's worth tracking or worth checking out. So the biggest one that I thought was when I was looking through here, it looks like they've added the ability to connect Bluetooth devices. And again, where's the keyboards, right? Like, okay, once I find it, I will show you guys. Okay, so like, here's a good example, is now that I have the camera app open, I should be able to see everything related to the camera, the recording, the file system. There's new settings for frame rates, video compression quality, image stabilization is even pretty cool. I like that. So I'm going to turn that on low. We'll see how that works out. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with me setting that while the device is on my head, but, you know, we'll see. And automatic syncing, I had so much trouble for the longest time getting media to sync. Now that I have a dedicated place to do it and sync media to my device, I'm much more likely to upload. Now, if only I could directly sync it to YouTube, then, you know, this video would upload itself, but, you know, we'll get there. Okay, let's see. I might have to, it's probably not in systems. It might be in storage. Nope. It's going to be in devices, right? Dude. Zuckerberg, we got to figure this out, man. The UX here is broken. But there is the option for us to be able to connect Bluetooth keyboards, a mouse, a gamepad, right? Like, that's a cool feature. And that's something where I can see this turning into more of a work-friendly device. There's still a lot of issues that Meta needs to fix. Like, for example, a key thing that a CRM software needs to have is the ability to schedule meetings with people, right? This is why Calendly got so big, is you could just set up a free booking appointment software and send it to anybody, and they could book 30 minutes with you and sync it to your Google Calendar. I don't know why, for the life of me, Facebook is trying to promote this for workspaces, but they don't have anything like that built into even their enterprise software for companies to work together. Like, it does not make sense. It's so busted. But the other things here are pretty cool. Like, you can connect to keyboard. Now it's more than 3 devices that you can officially pair. Like, what the hell? Come on, guys. And now you can actually add a keyboard. You can add a remote keyboard, which is pretty cool. You can save individual keyboard patterns. Like, that's pretty nice, right? And then you can actually manage and adjust your tracking speed. So this is kind of cool overall. I feel like they're moving more towards the computer desktop OS than they were a mobile OS, which is really interesting. You know, Android, the system that the Oculus Quest 2 is based off of, it's not really supposed to be a desktop system, so it's kind of cool to see them moving more towards desktop environments for VR, because I think the desktop system makes more sense for what Oculus needs to do with VR to make it a legitimate option for businesses to use, and a legitimate option for creators to use, to be 100% honest with you. But with that, I think that's everything that I wanted to go over, guys. Let me know, do you guys like the new update? Does this color design, does this work for you? Is this something that you could get into? Do you absolutely hate the way that I design my avatar? Do you hate my true self? I'm just teasing. Let me know what you guys think. I'm thinking I might do more of these spontaneous videos and just record, no edits, upload, and see what happens. So, anyway, that's it for me. Thanks, guys. The stupid thing to stop recording didn't work like it should have. That ruined my whole exit strategy. Ugh, guys, it's just they have bugs, and this is why I can't see meta going. Like, look at this. Look at this. Okay, now I have to go over here in order to be able to use my freaking stuff the way that it should be and not have it show up behind. But anyway, they got a lot of things to improve on, but I think they're actually, for the first time since I started playing in VR and doing VR stuff, I think they're actually heading in the right direction. So good on them. Good thing that they're trying, at least, because everyone's saying that VR is at the very end of its day. How the hell do I stop record camera? See, like, it should be intuitive. I shouldn't have to think about it. And anyway, sorry guys, I'm just ranting at this point. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you want to see more of these in the future. Bye.